Welcome, my next guest.
Hello.
Who are you and what are you doing here?
I am Piotr, and what I'm doing is just I'm attending the conference, and second, I'm also giving a talk, right? So
Okay.
this is what I do. I go to places and talk to people.
You have a special badge. I want to show it. You have a speaker badge, you have a Java badge, and a Star Trek badge. Explain.
Yes. Well, as I said, I'm a speaker here. Then what I've been doing here for quite a few years is Java. I mean, Java is like, let's say, my predominant technology. And Star Trek, well, I watch Star Trek every now and then, and that's it, right? Just for fun. I
So
mean,
you-
because conferences are not only for talking about hard stuff, but also like a little bit of fun.
Okay. And you also distributing chocolate?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I've picked it up from one of the other speakers, right? Nicola Frankel, and now there are more speakers doing this. It's because, like, sharing is caring, right? You bring the sweets from your country where you originate from, and you just, I mean, we are not in Poland this time. I mean, I invite everyone to visit Poland. We are going to have like two very nice conferences. One will happening this week, which is JCON, and the next one in a month, which is DevOps Poland, both in Krakow. So you can, of course, then enjoy Polish cuisine. But today it's impossible, so I just bring a little bit of sweets, and that's it.
I already had a few guests here who will depart this evening
Yes.
to come to Poland for the next conference.
Yes, I know. I'm departing tomorrow, so
Voilà.
I know the drill.
You have the same schedule.
Yes, yes.
You're a speaker. What are you talking about?
So this time I'm talking about it's going to be like a bit more advanced than usual. I'm talking about how we should be using test containers in a better way. AKA, it's like test containers. If you don't know it, is a technology / library that allows you to run real dependencies for your tests. Not only tests, but predominantly tests. And then you enjoy it. I mean, you've been to a conference or to a workshop, and you bring this technology, this mindset, basically, that you test stuff with real stuff to your company, to your team. And fast forward 6 months, everyone was copy pasting like crazy. CI builds start to fail simply because there's not enough money on the credit card and so on, right? And then you brought it, you own it, and you have to fix it, right? Exactly. And the thing is, maybe the problem is not in computer, maybe the problem is in the chair, right? Basically, maybe we haven't been using test containers in the optimal way, like taking it from the performance point of view, right? So the first example, instead of starting all the containers I need for every test case, right? I just start them once and take care of resetting the state before the tests, right? And this is like the first crucial part. And then there are other techniques. Tomorrow I'll be showing MySQL and Elasticsearch, how you can use these containers more efficiently, right? Basically, reduce the duration of the build pipeline at least a few times.
I'm building a little pet project with a database website thing, and I'm using locally an H2 memory database,
Yes.
and in production a Postgres database.
Mhm.
That's the thing that I can fix with test containers, right?
Yes, or I would say improve, drastically improve. Yes, exactly. So instead of using, I mean, I'm not trying to say that any kind of like mocks or spies or fakes or test doubles or whatever are needed. I use them a lot. I still use them because I employ them as a fast failure grid detection network, right? If something is going to break, let's figure it out quickly. But then it doesn't give you confidence that what you're building is actually going to work, right, with the actual thing. Let's take Elasticsearch, right? If you mock it, if you mock Elasticsearch, your test will pass very, very fast, like let's say sub-second, and everyone will be happy, right? Until you decide to jump, for example, and you should have made this jump like long time ago from version 7 to version 8. And then the question is, who is going to read the change log, right, between the version 7 and version 8 and reflect it in all the mocks, right? good luck doing this. Really, that's why it's better. I mean, of course, these tests are going to be somewhat slower. That's. I mean, this cannot be disputed, right? On the other hand, they don't have to take hours. They don't even have to take like quarters. They can just take minutes. But what they can give you is like great confidence that you're testing against the actual thing. And then, like, funny thing happened to my friend. I mean, funny. We are sitting here, so this is funny, right? But Kevin Vitek, the maintainer of test containers, he was trying to travel back with his family, and they have a son. Um, he's more or less 1 year old, right? And then the airline systems or airport systems weren't quite cooperative because this was an exception, right? So see, with this approach, that when you use like a real dependency, you can also put that real data, of course, obfuscated, like no personal information and stuff, right? But this can be like you can take a snapshot from production, make sure it's obfuscated properly, and then you use it, right? And then you're testing not only against real dependency, but also real data. Like, what can be better than this? I guess only production.
Yeah. And that's what you want to do, is testing in production and move it to testing somewhere else.
Yeah, the Americans call it shifting to the left.
Shifting to the left. Yeah.
Yes.
So you replicate as much as possible your production environment, even way back to your development machine, if you want to.
Yes. I mean, one of the technology/modules I like the most in this ecosystem around test containers is ToxiProxy. And if you haven't heard about ToxiProxy, I mean, the name is quite self-explanatory. It's basically a proxy, a network proxy, and you can make it toxic. Which means, for example, you can introduce delays to your network. You can introduce dropping packages. You can introduce jitter, whatever, right? Basically, you can programmatically and in a deterministic way test how your system behaves when networks goes crazy. And as we know from production, eventually it can happen, right?
Yeah.
So the whole idea is even this, right? So you don't even go with like real dependencies with real data. You can also have like for some chaos engineering, right? This is, by the way, something I'll be showing this week in Krakow, right, at JCON, how we can use this to see, for example, if you have implemented virtual threads from new Java correctly, right?
Okay, good. So a lot to learn about test containers.
I hope so. Well, not
Okay.
only test containers, right? So it's also like Java, it's Elasticsearch and other stuff.
I saw your talk at JFall or JSpring, I cannot remember, with the new features of 21, I think it was at that time.
JSpring, this is where we've met.
JSpring,
Yes.
yeah. So you're very energetic, very fast, but you can learn a lot.
Well, this is the problem which I have when I'm wearing this speaker's hat, right? I would, I mean, it's not the good word, right? But I would love to spread everything I know, just to share everything I know, and I'm always limited by 40,
You only
45.
have that time, yes.
Exactly. So it's the problem, and I annoy these people who love to watch YouTube videos, let's say times 1.5, right? It might be challenging, but then it's like maybe you have to slow
It
down.
can be a knowledge overload problem at that time.
Yes, but this is, you see, this is like what I love about this conference. This is what I love about every other conference and our community, right? Which is, let's not be afraid to admit that, Java centric, right? Everyone was saying Java's slow, it's dying. I mean, and maybe, I mean, Java 7 this time, right? It was true, but now it's accelerating. It's going faster and faster. And then, I mean, even if you're to cover just what happened to Java standard library, right? Within last year, 12 months, which is 2 releases. I mean, to go deeply within like regular conference slot is impossible.
Yeah.
So it's also I would say a good sign of something positive, right? And then you scratch also other topics like GRA, or things that come from Azul with Crack, right? For example, that this is addressing the issue that the thing is starting really slow, and so on. And it shows you like that companies like also doing their own garbage collectors and whatnot. So it's like great place to be in and great time to live in, I would say.
I think the people who hate Java for being slow are stuck on Java 8, I think.
Mm,
They probably missed what happened in the last 4 or 5 years with all these evolutions.
I think you might be right,
Yeah.
really. And it's like I have, I mean, even if I'm not talking about garbage collectors, for example, I use this example. So you take your whole application, right? It can be just packed in a jar file, created using Java 8, and then you deploy it on modern GDK, right? And so what happens since that? We have compact strings, we have new garbage collectors, we have application CDS, right, and CDS in general. You can go, for example, for Crack, for fast startup types, and so on and so on. And this is, you don't even have to touch the source code. You don't
No.
even touch the jar file, right? And now it seems that it's like it scales out better, right, and everything. The only thing you have to do is you have to switch for virtual threads manually in the code. That has to happen, right? But apart from that,
Just run it.
just run it. Just keep your Docker files updated, and that's it, right?
That's it. Okay, that's a nice message to conclude.
I hope so.
Thanks a lot. Have
Thank
fun at
you.
the